Today we're going to have a look at how to fold and store your belts at home. So there are two ways we can do this. We can hang the belts or we can roll them up like this. So both ways have advantages. I want to show you how to roll them up and talk a little bit about that first, and then we'll have a look at hanging belts afterwards. So to fold up your belt, what you want to do first here is lift up the belt on the side like this, and then we're going to bring the ends together. Now the end without the clasp we're going to take and we're going to put it through the clasp from the top like this, and then you just grab the end and you start spooling it and spin it up. Now you don't want to spool it up super tightly if you have leather belts. That can lead to the belt cracking, so be gentle with leather belts. This is probably plenty. You can place it standing up on the side like this. Now if you have a textile belt, I don't, so you have to imagine that my 10-year-old belt is a textile belt here. What you can do is actually spool it up quite a lot more without damaging the belt. So that's going to save more space. As you can see, it does get quite a lot smaller. Now for storing these belts, I like to use a simple little bin like this. So what I usually do is just place them inside the bins here, like that and like this. And that way they have a little bit of room to expand as well if they want to, without unraveling. That goes double if you have belts that don't have one of these buckles that you can pull the belt through. If you have one of those big buckles so that you pull the other type of belt buckles, we need to do this a little bit differently. So if you have one of those belts, what you want to do instead is start again with the belt stretched out, and we're going to put it up to the side and we bring both ends together. Now instead of pulling it through the clasp, what we're going to do is that we're just going to start spooling it in to itself like this. Again, you don't want to do this very tightly if you have leather belts. If you have fabric belts, you can do it quite tight without causing any damage. Now for this second method, you definitely want to place it inside something, otherwise it's going to unravel a little bit, especially over time if you have movement in your drawers, for example. So I recommend just simple bins like this. I'm going to add some recommendations in the video description as well. So that's what I would do with belts. Now what you could do as well, especially if you have belt that you can't place inside containers like this, is that you could use an elastic of some type, maybe something like a hairband. You could place that over the belt as well, and that's going to hold it together. Don't want to use just regular elastic bands, as that's really harsh on the belt and it's going to wear, especially on leather. Next, we're going to talk a little bit about hanging belts versus folding them up like that. Before we do that, I just want to give you a little tip here. If you head over to organizing.tv/hacks, you can download a cheat sheet with my top 5 folding and organizing hacks. That's going to help you organize your space and save a lot of room as well in your wardrobe. That cheat sheet entirely free, organizing.tv/hacks, 5 free hacks over there. If you want to hang your belts instead of folding them, it's quite simple and it does have advantages, especially for leather belts. It can be good to hang them because that way you don't risk the belt cracking so quickly. Besides that, it's also good to kind of stretch them out. Belts are of course going to shape to your body. You can see this one is very much shaped to my body. It's 10 years old, so it's about to be retired. Besides that, hanging belts can be more space saving as well. There are a couple of ways you can do it. Either you could get a belt hanger, a specific one. They look like this. And these hangers can go directly into your closet with the rest of your hangers, for example, your coat hangers and shirt hangers. If you don't want to get one of those, by the way, I can add a link to Amazon if you want one of those. You could get something like what I generally recommend, and that is going to be just a simple hanger. Like these are the ones you will hang, for example, your coats on. If you have taken the 14-step wardrobe organizing challenge, you know that I really like this. I screw these to back of closets, sides of closets, or even doors in some instances, because they don't take up any room at all. And if you have something like belts that will just hang straight up and down, that doesn't really cost you any space. So these I would just take and I would hang them straight up and down like this. If your belts don't have these hooks or like these regular belt loops, you can place them laying over, find the balance point there. And yeah, that's really going to help you stretch out the belt. Now, if you have belts like my 10-year-old belt here, this one, and you kind of want to prevent it from stretching out so much, what you could do is add a little bit of weight to the end of the belt. That way it's going to help stretch out when you're not using them as well. So that's a big advantage of hanging the belts. If you don't want to place them in your closets, my mom actually has a pretty cool hack for this. She has screwed up one of these hangers behind her bedroom door. and on the bathroom. And because it's behind the door, she can put this up and it's not going to be like very easy to see when the door is open. Also, it's not taking up any space because the space behind the door, you're not going to use it for anything besides like a picture anyway, right? So that's a really good tip, and the belts will just hang there and you know exactly where they are. They're easy to grab. Really good tip there. I want to show you one more thing here. So the third way that you can store your belts is on the actual pants. You know, when you take off the pants, you need to take off the belt as well. And this isn't really the best thing long term. It's gonna kind of wear on your belt loops, and obviously the belt isn't gonna be able to be stretched out either. But to be honest with you, if you use the pants like a couple of days, personally, I just leave it on. I think it's totally fine. But when I'm gonna wash the pants, or if I'm gonna store them for multiple days without use, I will take the belt up and I'll just spool it up like I showed you in the beginning. But yeah, this is totally fine as well, just short term. And of course, you know, it's easier as well. If you like this, I have a bunch more folding hacks for you. I put together a cheat sheet with my top 5 folding and organizing hacks that you can download for free over on my website. I'm gonna add like a little box here that you can just tap, and that will take you over to the page where you can download it free. It's awesome. It's gonna help you save tons of space in your wardrobe. You can also go to organizing.tv/hacks and it's available there. And I hope you liked this video. If you have any more questions about belts, you know who to ask. I also made a video on how to roll up your belts for travel specifically. You can tap here to check that out. And thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.